Welcome to the Four Wards Podcast. Hey, what's up? It's Eric Bra, voice of Draven, Jerks, and Vel'Koz. And you're listening to the Four Wards Podcast, here to help you move forward in League.
Yes, you didn't use the other title. Damn it. You know me too well. You know me too well. Yeah. Thanks. Probably. That seems like the most likely case. I am. Yeah. Yep.
Hello. Yep, I'm here right now instead of watching Worlds. You're welcome. Oh, thank you.
Hello, hello. I'm here to drop inaccurate knowledge on your head. Like elementary school all over again. Toes the line. But as long as we don't talk about where I live, which is probably going to come up eventually, just don't want to get found out too quickly. If any of my officers that are hunting me aren't doing their homework right now, you're in trouble.
I'm pretty sure he broke probation by trying to strip on stream last week. So
Yeah, that was the start of it.
That's part of probation. You can't do your own cam shows. It's not cool.
Can't I, though?
I don't know how like probation works anymore. It seems like there's a lot of esoteric rules like that.
Pretty much.
See, like, yeah. What else are you gonna do for money when you're out of the clink? I mean, best way to turn a buck is definitely cam shows.
Well, we could talk about criminal justice reform, but I don't think that's why anyone tunes into our show.
No? Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, this is the Four Wards Podcast. I just have a couple little bit of announcements here. I know a lot of you guys out there already probably listen to a couple other shows on the Trinity Force Network, but just so you guys know, I'm going to run through all them motherfuckers right now, just so you know what all is out there that you could possibly be listening to. So first and foremost, we have the Trinity Force Podcast, the sort of central hub for League of Legends stuff. We have the LCS Rundown, which covers anything LCS, LCK, LMS, LPL, competitive league related. Then we have the unfortunately now defunct Oz LOL podcast, but you can still listen to all the other episodes on the network and on the repository. Then there's
The
us.
Australian voices are soothing.
They're God damn it, they are.
I miss those guys so much.
Carrot, wherever you are, man, I hope you're doing well down under.
If you miss podcasting, come back for an evening.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Or a
probably
morning.
awake right now.
It's probably
actually.
a morning.
We'll be
Yeah,
sure to
that's true.
flip your webcam upside down on stream. Okay, so besides that, outside of League of Legends, there's also Hearth of the Cards, a podcast for Hearthstone, and I know they're going to have a really great episode next week with the big patch note that just hit Hearthstone. So some exciting stuff over there. On the subject of board games and D&D, there is It's a Long Story, a T-Force RPG misadventure, which is currently on hiatus, but may be coming back really soon. Once again, all our old episodes are on the repository if you like some good D&D shit. For general gaming, there is T-Force GG, the general gaming podcast. They do a lot of really great stuff, going to different conventions, trying out new indie games. They write really great articles on our website, as well as making videos to highlight some of those new games on our YouTube channel. And finally, our newest one, Into the Iris, which is an Overwatch podcast. And just a shout out to them. They had a recent episode about Lucio, and their next week hero breakdown is going to be decided by a poll that is up on our subreddit right now. I think it may be stickied. So you can go ahead and vote for that, for what hero you want to hear them talk about next. Okay. So that's all the podcast on there. So just quick plug, if you want to help out the network, I have 2 ways you can do that this week. Number 1, Loot Crate. Loot Crate's an awesome service if you guys like geeky gamer gear and other stuff like that. And next month is going to be October. Will be October probably when I release this. But the theme for October is going to be horror. And they've got a lot of really cool stuff there, from stuff like The Walking Dead, Friday the 13th, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and A Nightmare on Elm Street. So if you head on over to www.trylootcrate.com/TFN with the code BRIDGE10 for checkout, you can get 10% off, and it really helps out the network. So you can go in, try it for a month, and quit it. No real strings attached. Really cool little trinkets and other things you can get from that. All right. One other way you can also help us out is with Vantage Sports. Sorry. If you guys have ever gone onto our subreddit or our YouTube page, the Trinity Force Network, you see that about every week we have Vantage videos that we post from games that members of the T-Force community participate in Vantage League. If you don't know what Vantage League is right now, you can head on over to the website vantagesports.gg/Trinity Force pod. No, sorry. Let me try this one more time. vantagesports.gg/Trinity Force. And that's it. It's a really great site where you can get a chance to learn from some of the pros and coaches with balanced teams and post-game analysis. You can check out, if you want to know more about it, you can go to the website or check out some of the videos that are on our YouTube channel. And once again, that is the Trinity Force Network. Okay. I'm done shilling for the night. So,
You don't
Are we
want
sure
to
about that?
advertise my new cam shows late at
dude,
night?
I don't need to advertise that shit. You're
It's
making bank.
Exothermic.
Exothermic. That's. I would love that if it was like your porn name. Just give it up for Exothermic.
That sounds enticing, I tell you.
He'll blind
I
you with
watch.
science and his dick. Something like that. I need to work
too
on
far?
it a little. We're talking about cam shows. Of course he's going to show his bulge on there. Are you kidding?
No, I mean, like,
No,
If I
no,
walk-
I'm just a tease.
Are you kidding me?
I think there's more important Reddit stuff that we should be talking about instead of Thallium's cam girl boy career.
I'm disappointed in you. That is.
How can anything be more important than that?
If you're gonna go on the cam sites, you gotta sell it, man.
Yeah. I mean, Doom sent me a package recently, so
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
came.
Oh,
For
in
all
the
of
mail.
you loving that sweet Thallium audio this week, that's because he finally got a good mic, and hopefully it sounds all right this week. If not, he'll have to twerk with it a little
Hopefully
bit
I'm not,
more.
deep throating it, breathing into it a lot.
Yeah. So it just takes
Again,
a little bit
sorry
of
about
experience.
that. I did listen to the old episodes. Like, man,
You just
I am really annoying.
Yeah. Just pro tip, you got to hold the bottom of the microphone just very gently while you're getting up real close onto it. And Yeah.
Dick
Just
joke.
stuff like that.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
You're
Okay,
right,
so
we should
Audio
get on
Land
to-
can't see that, but I literally just I needed to borrow somebody's hand as much facepalm just happened. So
Am I supposed to be the mature one?
Oh, hell no. No one's mature.
no,
Okay.
it's
Nah.
overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I've always said.
Let's talk about stuff from Reddit this week. One thing
Let's talk about League of Legends.
Yeah.
There are so few dicks in League of Legends. I mean, besides the
Right.
players.
Where's
Have
the
you seen
bold?
Derek?
I'm still
Oh.
waiting for Heartseeker Draven. I need that sweet Draven stash in a tuxedo top and
But a tuxedo T-shirt.
and a banana hammock.
Wow.
All right, so Riot announced this week.
Moving on.
Tell me, Badger Senpai, what did Riot?
So Riot announced this week an interesting thing that they're going to do with Worlds this year after the idea of alternate streams came up during the summer split, that they're doing what they call player experience streams, and it's not just like focused on one role. They're doing a couple different things. They're doing like focused on one of the players in the game. Like earlier when they were doing Rox versus Albus Nox Luna, they were following Peanut around, and he made some interesting choices, so they had a perfect opportunity to talk about that for the stream. And they'll bring in like pro players, like they had an Orion for the Albus Rox game and all kinds of other stuff. And they're doing Fog of War, like showing vision control from teams and stuff like that. And then, of course, they're doing their tried and true old lane matchups. Like, I know one is tomorrow when Jensen and Faker play. They're going to have like Alex Each and a couple other mid laners on there, and they're going to have a good time talking about it.
Yeah,
so.
the one tonight. Like, they have it from all the lanes. Like, G2, CLG, you can go watch.
Afro Mythy, yeah.
Yeah, and you have like the real casters like Zyrene, Matt, Inori, Pulse, Froggen, stuff like that, like casting all these games, and it's within like Fog of War. So this is a fucking fantastic chance for you guys to get on there. And if you really want to know more about what's going on in a lane, why the pros make the decisions that they do, this is going to be like a fantastic experience and opportunity.
I cannot wait to watch those.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to that.
Oh, the Fog of War stream is a different stream.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there's going to be an additional stream where it'll show each team's Fog of War.
That's cool.
Stepping up their fucking game.
They're doing pretty good. I will say one of the things that I wish they did do, and I know a lot of websites are playing to this as well, as many new players come into the game each year before Worlds. Valve, for past TIs, they have done like a newbie stream. Like they will actually have a couple people on there and just break things down, like basic concepts behind it. Like they'll still talk about the why Peanut invaded a Graves at level 3 and why that's a bad idea.
But like just taking it down to why he's leveling up.
Yeah, why
certain
he's doing stuff like that. They'll do very basic concepts behind the game.
Yeah,
which would be interesting to see how it is that they would do that. So
yeah,
maybe for next year.
I swear they did that before, like a couple years
no,
ago.
it wasn't.
It
wasn't an official Riot stream.
It wasn't official.
It was Skyen and like Obscura.
Obscurica.
Was that for the 2013? Whatever.
2014 or something like that. Maybe. I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah. Okay, so like really take a second, check out some of those stuff. I'm sure the VODs will be up too for that.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
It's really nice because until now, we haven't really had any way to see what the pro teams actually see, because you get overlapping visions and wards, and you never really can completely understand how much information each team actually has.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can.
Now we can.
All right. So now,
hopefully, we can see it from their perspective. I mean, ideally, it'd be wonderful if you could get their comms a little bit, just because, like, if you could tune into a game where you know, like, a team was behind and what was their vision like, and how does their vision change, and how do they reestablish vision? Because I feel like that's something my team definitely struggles with.
Right,
like,
but like I don't feel that's something they really talk about too much. It's usually just reserved for team fights where they just shout like whoever they're trying to focus, honestly.
I know, they won't do it.
Pros, anyways.
Cool.
Also, probably getting into strategy leaking and stuff.
Yeah, that's strat leaking stuff. They did that with CS:GO for a while. They had, like, at majors, they would have comms on stream. Like, they'd have alternate streams with comms from teams. and it led to a lot of like strats getting leaked from teams, and that got ended pretty quickly after like the first run around with it. So
Yeah.
I don't think it would last very long in
Shenanigans.
this game either. So
No,
Cool,
you're
cool
probably
things
right.
to think about.
It would be real nice though.
Yeah.
Yep.
So who's ready to talk about some other stuff that won't matter too much from Reddit?
yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
Sure.
so there was a thread this week saying like victorious skins should have chromas based on what rank you got this season.
Mm.
So
I
like,
thought that'd be cool.
It
Well,
would-
so like you have like a gold chroma for your gold skin, but if you got plat or diamond, you'd have a different, slightly different but very similar
mhm.
skin.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool.
Yeah,
It wouldn't
I'm
be too
fine with
hard
the
to
icon. I think the chroma for the skin is a little too much, though. I
mean-
mean, it'd be cool to show off that you made platinum or that you were masters or something like that. But I think that's just taking. I mean, I don't know. They really haven't been fans
Yeah.
of like non-accessible content to
Mhm.
certain groups of players, besides like the
Right.
icons.
But
and
like
the
they
borders and stuff
did.
like that.
People talked about this last year, and it seems like there was a comment that they're taking it into consideration. We're not selling Victor.
It might be.
The interesting thing I have here is that earlier they removed seeing the enemy's borders. So this is a way to see, like, again, they'd have to play the champion and use the skin and then use the chroma. So they have a choice to not show the enemy, but it does get into does Riot want to show ranks to opposing teams?
I think it's fine.
I don't know.
Like
Yeah,
you're
I
never
mean-
gonna be mismatched that much, and like
Except in rank 5s.
yeah,
Well, it's looking at the ranks that would get the skin because bronze and silver wouldn't. You're just looking at the top like 30% of players in the first place,
hmm
and when you get to the plat diamond masters, that starts to matter more.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that. I mean, I'm fine with it if they do it, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't be disappointed if they didn't. That's just kind of one of those things that maybe they'll get around to doing it some year, maybe they won't.
Mhm. It's not
Who
going to
knows?
kill anything if they
No,
don't do it.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The much larger problem I have with it is that Riot's never made a pretty platinum thing.
True.
It's all
Eh,
Mm.
I don't know. I don't mind like the greenish platinum.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And what other color are you gonna make it?
Not a fan.
Because then it'll be like the third one that's sort of silver.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd have to find a way
Blue,
to
diamond would be
differentiate diamond
like
and
the
plat.
bluish that they're doing.
Yeah.
What would Challenger and Master even be?
Well,
Red.
Challenger was like still a silver, and then Master was like the gold, more yellow than gold, with
Yeah.
like the little orby things on them.
Maybe if they did better colors.
True. Yeah, just make it more distinct, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So it's really the art that's the problem.
Right. It's always the art. You know, it wasn't. You know when the art wasn't a problem? In the World's 2016 hype video,
Ooh. So much hype.
right?
I will admit the song was lackluster. The song with the video kind of. I mean, I like the song. I really like it. It took a little bit for it to grow on me because I like Zed, but like the first time I watched it, I was too distracted by the video itself.
Yeah.
And then the second time I just listened to the song and I'm like, it just doesn't feel like it leads up to like hypey points in the
And
video.
then it's like
but
immediately goes back down.
yeah, it immediately goes back down.
I thought
oh,
it was a
shit.
good song. I didn't feel very hyped by it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a mid-season song where, like, yes, this is coming,
See, I loved it. Like they did.
and then slow burn it for a little while.
They took
and then-
that video, like the graphics from that video, and just put the Warriors theme.
Overtop it.
Yeah, overtop it, and it actually fit really well.
And then the one from last year was, in my opinion, better. It was the Worlds Collide.
Oh
Worlds
man,
Collide.
no.
I don't
War-
remember.
No,
No,
Warriors
I'm
was
talking,
the best.
I'm talking about it fit the video better, is what I mean.
Okay.
Not that it's a better song.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Warriors is the best fucking video.
I mean,
and song
the,
for League.
The visuals in the video were pretty awesome. I also liked how afterwards it was like, oh, look at the plays that inspired the animation. I'm
Yeah.
like, yes,
That was
please
awesome.
click on that. Holy shit, this game looked awful. I
Yeah.
forgot how bad it was.
Yeah.
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 Even like season 4, like season 4
Wasn't
Worlds,
that
right
after-
before they did the
that was
Summoners
right
up.
before? Or
That was
after?
that was the last season they did on Old Rift. They updated it for
God
season
damn.
5.
There was an update after season 2 originally.
There was.
Yeah,
and
there's
it
that
was-
too.
And then there
like
was,
it just made everything
yeah.
more contrasted and
A lot of people
so
don't
shitty.
remember. A lot of people didn't play in season 1 is the thing you got to remember.
Yeah.
So when you see the Fnatic Against All Authority games from Gamescom 2011,
Yeah,
that was the World
not many
Championship,
people remember that.
Nope.
which is also a good reason why, like you said, that they brought in the plays that inspired stuff, because a lot of people don't remember the Ash Arrow and the brand support. It was brand mid back then.
Mhm.
They didn't
Yeah,
play
it was
brand support.
it was brand mid. Yeah. Oh gosh, well, like my favorite part of that video was like about a minute in, where it's the play where Odd One steals Baron. It's just like him
He
with
put
this
his face in the
goofy ass-
dock.
with this goofy ass face, just looking at the monitor. I don't even know what expression they were trying to give him when they did that like part, and I purposely like cropped it out and put like that face into our doc so everyone could see it.
I think the Lulu one during the SKT
Versus-
Crew Tigers one
Yeah.
towards
Yeah.
the end of it, I thought the Lulu face was better.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that whole, I'm a huge fan of Odd One, so watching that whole sequence of him like doing the salute and then diving off of the back of the cliff into the Baron pit, that was fucking amazing. That hit me right in the
They
nostalgia.
did a really good job. That's just all I'll say is.
And then
10 out of
Faker
10
eating
riot.
broccoli. Come on.
And then doing
the
the
roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just fucking everyone was Zed. No, sorry. Rise.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you haven't checked that out, yeah, it's Worlds 2016. It's music video by Zed called Ignite. So go ahead, hop on YouTube, check that shit out.
And
think
even
the
on its
other-
own, sorry, yeah.
Go ahead.
Even on its own, it's not a bad song. It's just hard to match up to Warriors and Worlds Collide.
Yeah.
It's incredibly hard. Those were amazing songs.
Yeah.
It's just like it never hits like a high point that it keeps climbing to. It just keeps going up and down and up and down and up and down and never really builds hype. I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
I think my most surprising part about that video is the fact that Tom Kent showed up at Worlds, because like in my brain he's still a very new champion.
Yeah.
Like Tom Kent hasn't been around that long, I guess there he is in the these are the plays.
It's like whenever
It's
you
not-
start, every champion after that is still a new champion.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So like Zera still feels like a new champion, or
Nah,
like Shyvana,
well-
kind of.
Yes and no.
Mm.
Like, I mean, since I don't know, we all started playing like season 1, season 2, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's back when they had the once every 2 weeks. So we were
Yeah.
used to champs coming out like, oh, we've
So
got
many champs, they all blur
got-
together.
one this week, and then 2 weeks later we'll get another one, and then another one, and then another one on top of that. So we kind of got spoiled by that. And now that we're getting like, who's
One
even
a
come out
month.
this year? It's like Jin. Jin was early in the year.
Was he
Yeah.
this year? Okay. Yeah.
Jin was
Still
this year.
Jin,
Kindred
Talia.
was.
Kindred was
last year.
before.
Kindred was before Jin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kindred was before Jin.
So we had
Yeah.
Kindred.
Talia was this year.
Mhm.
Yes.
Then we had, was the next one Kled?
Kled.
Kled
Yeah,
came
because
out.
we're supposed to get like 5 this year.
I thought it was
Yeah.
6. Ivern, and then there's supposed to be one more on top
Yeah,
of
there's
that.
supposed to be one more.
Yeah.
So one every like 2 months now. They've gone from 2
Aurelion
weeks to 2 months.
Soul.
Oh, no,
If we're looking-
because
backwards.
was
It's
he?
Kled, Talia, Aurelion Sol, Jin,
Okay.
Alawi, Kindred,
Forgot
Tahm Kench.
about
Yeah,
Aurelion
I guess Star Dragon
Sol.
was this year.
Man.
Alawi was
Wow.
this year as well, right?
That's
I
only
think Alawi
6
was
like
champions.
November,
7
December.
champions between now and Last Worlds, because Comtench was in Last Worlds.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Laui
Yeah.
was
Huh.
November, December last year. So
Okay.
Okay, well, between
Yeah.
in off season then. I still count December as this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
Between Last Worlds and this Worlds.
Yes,
Mhm.
between Last
Alawi.
Worlds and this Worlds.
okay.
yeah, 1 per 2 months.
Let's get into some real substance stuff here. So, Thalen, you brought up this point. Just a quick discussion piece we can hit on. And I know it's come up before in questions and posts on Reddit. So I will just lay it out like this. How do we feel about the term metaslave? Who wants to sort of define that? I guess Thalion, since you kind of...
Well, I feel like I brought it up because people... I think I encountered it most because I follow Voyboy on Twitter for reasons still. Twitter, sometimes you follow people and then you forget you follow them and like, oh yeah, I follow that guy. And then you forget you follow
my
them again
God.
until they tweet. But anyway, he was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm just a metaslave who got the challenger again. But I'm like... And I think he's using it ironically. Like, people use it, throw it at him as a dig for some reason.
Mhm.
Like... I think people just use it as a pejorative. I think if I'm using that word correctly, but
Yeah.
they use it to like excuse why other people are higher ranked than them. They're like, oh, he's just a metaslave, or oh, he's just a one-trick Annie bot pony,
I don't think that's... like,
which are the opposite of those
Yeah.
two things. Are the opposite, but those are still just words that players use to diminish other players.
Flavor of the month. That's
Yeah.
another one
Yep.
that you
Mhm.
could throw
And
in
it
with
just
there.
annoyed me. So like, okay, so if you're yelling at those people for following whatever happens to be strong right now and adapting to the current patch, and then you're yelling at those people for playing the same thing regardless of role or position, like, what's... Get over it, I guess. This is all that scrub mentality that the proper talks about all the time.
Yeah. Like...
And it annoys me because, like, okay, well, what's the middle ground? You play 2 champions that may or may not be flavor of the month really well, so you're not a one-trick pony, but you're also not a metaslave. Just get over yourself and play your game.
Right.
Like,
That's just all it comes down to.
Yep.
There was a conversation
Yeah.
in the Vantage League Slack earlier that we were talking. George, you read through it, didn't you?
Yep, I
That was
was
the-
participating.
Oh
in
yeah,
it,
you were
actually.
part of it. You were part
That
of it.
was
I
a
was at
big
work, so I
side,
didn't
George.
participate in it.
yeah, break
that
that,
was
down.
a lean back.
That was. There's basically.
Like,
You want to sum it up real quick?
yeah.
And I'll,
So basically, there was an argument about how to pick your champion, and the two sides were kind of either pick one and go for it or use champion.gg. And my point there was that just because something's flavor of the month doesn't necessarily mean you'll be good at it,
Mhm.
even if it's the best thing.
Yep.
I think going back, our general position on this podcast is first to play what you can, have fun playing. Because if you're not going to have fun playing that, you're not going to take the time dedicated to learning how that champion functions in matchups and against other champions. And, like, I understand, you could see, like, metaslave as a pejorative term, but in the same breath, I wouldn't beholden yourself just to those, like, 2 or 3 champions in each lane that are, like, have the highest win rate either, because you go and play a lot of different games and you realize League of Legends is balanced really well. There's a lot of ways, items, and skill matchups that really can define it more than just, it's going to be, I don't know, let's say Kennen versus Rise in the mid lane, or something probably more relevant than that. It never comes down to just, okay, one of those champions is going to win a majority of the time. You always have a chance.
Yeah.
Even if you're using champion.gg and you're looking at, this champion has, a ridiculously high win rate against that champion. Usually those top out at like 55%.
And if it
Like,
goes
oh, so
higher,
you're
it's
winning
usually like a
out
sample
of 100
size
games,
issue.
you're winning 5 more than would be optimal balance.
Right.
That is
Yep.
not a lot of games.
That is like
And-
for having 130 champions now, something like that. That is really fucking good balance. Like you can hate on Riot for a lot of things, but how well they do balance in the game is it's really good and it's something you don't find in very many other games.
And the other thing people don't understand about averages is that if you look at any particular person's profile, they're not going to have the same win rate that Champion.gg is showing.
Right, and like the thing I like about Champion GG, they also give like the cumulative win rate across games played. So you see like people who played 10 games have an average win rate of, whatever, and it's usually like the more games you play, like up to like 125 is what they track. It usually always keeps going off, or at least plateaus around 50 games.
Yeah. I'll just say the one thing that I've been telling people for the last like 3 seasons is, and just once you find what works for you, stick with it. Like just play your game. It's the only consistent thing in every game is you. So if you want to be a 80 Kennen one trick,
you can make it
do
work.
it. You can. It's possible. I've seen it. But just if you know what you're doing, or at least you think you know what you're doing, and you can play it, just play it. Like meta is meta, and I hate the word meta, really. So
There's a Tristana quote that kind of applies here, and it's like something along the lines of, rules are more like guidelines, really. I mean, Medline isn't... Sorry, the
meta is more of a guideline.
Yeah.
meta's more of a guideline. Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
People get obsessed with the meta. It's like, oh, I really want to break the meta and do something different. I'm like, well, okay, but if you do
play
that
the
often
game.
enough, it's gonna just change the meta, and then you're playing the meta again.
Right.
Yeah, the
And then
only
you're gonna
thing
be
a
obsessed
meta...
with breaking the meta again. Like,
The
it's
only
just,
the only thing the meta really is a description on what to expect to play against.
Pretty much.
Like, that's
Yeah.
it.
that is succinct.
I will admit, and I kind of do that with AD carry. I'll just play meta at that
Lucian.
point. At sometimes, yeah, Lucian. Well, it helps if Lucian's meta too.
Lucian's
so
always meta.
Lu-
It is
He's
inherent.
been meta for
Lucian,
the
Lucian is
last
always
how
gonna
many
be
seasons.
be good. So
Yeah.
at least unless they like break his
Get
ult
rid of-
again,
or just like get rid of his passive.
or
I mean,
just
he's the AD carry caster archetype now. Like,
Riot
you'd
likes
make
having a
another one.
flashy ADC
Yep.
to show.
Yeah.
Yup.
Everyone just
Thank you,
forgets about
Riot.
Vayne.
No, Wayne's not gonna. I think Vayne won't even get played at Worlds this year. Like
Not even
I
like
think
Imp.
she's.
Spoiler: she's in
Im's
the
not
game
even
right
playing
now.
at Worlds this year.
Are you serious?
No, I'm just
Oh, you
saying that, but
fucker.
that would be. I don't even know, but that would be amazing.
It's
if it
forgiven
was.
and
That would be.
like I don't even remember AHQ's AD carry, but they're playing right now. I can't. I'm sad because I
I
can't watch
wouldn't
this game.
Imagine Forgiven playing Vayne.
Okay. Do you want to introduce the next piece?
Yeah. Okay, so we've been doing correspondent pieces for a while. I think we got a really good one this week. It's once again from Projector, and he's going to be talking about ganking versus farming in the jungle. He's going to be kind of, at least right now, our go-to guy for a lot of stuff in the jungle. So we wanted to clarify some points that we made from listener questions last week. So I'll let him take it away. It's really good. You'll like it. Okay, so I don't want to add a whole lot to this right now because I think it's really simple and succinct.
Stands on its own.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was a great way of simply putting something that seems obvious once he said it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And like when you start taking those points and saying like, okay, I need to watch for lanes that'll snowball, or I need to watch for lanes that I think will win. And if you start watching those either in pro games or streams, you'll see that they really do apply those tendencies when they're setting up ganks or when they're going to go farm. They'll say, okay, I'm going to go gank top lane. Let's start clearing out, starting from mid lane to Gromp. And the more you start, picking up on that.
It just all comes back to that magical word and the thought process behind it of pathing. Like, that's just 90% of what jungling is pathing. So...
Yep. Making a
simple.
roadmap and following it.
Yep.
So...
my only quibble is I kind of like lane ganks. Just because...
Yeah.
Especially if, like, your team is pushed up a little bit, but about to be pushed back. Lane ganks are pretty powerful, and if you stop the farm, you might miss your window.
Well, I think, like, lane ganks...
But then again, I'm not a jungler, so maybe he knows better than I do.
Lane ganks, unless you're going there just simply to alleviate pressure or to counter gank, they are very champion dependent whether they're going to work or not.
Fair point.
You just need CC and lane, or you need CC and vision control to make a lane gank work. Well, lane control too. I guess you need those three things.
Powerful gap closers.
And ganks in
Very
general
powerful.
just are situationally dependent.
Right.
Yep,
that's the only point that was kind of glossed over a little bit because I don't think he had the time and everything else he was talking about.
Yep.
So yeah.
On to the next one.
Yeah, you know what, Nick, I'm gonna let you read this one.
You
I'm so
shouldn't have.
excited for this.
I opened the doc and you don't realize
yeah.
how excited.
It's like, oh shit, an 80 carry question.
I know, right? It's great. So
I
Oliver
know
P writes in.
things.
I know. Oliver P writes in and says, "Hi guys, I would love to hear your thoughts on the current state of affairs for 80 carry or 80 carry itemization. Given that the 80 plus flat armor pen builds, Ghostblade, Duskblade, Black Cleaver are most popular / optimal for most champions, do you think lower ELO players should be following this build path or sticking to the more traditional 80 carry style builds with AD, attack speed, and crit? I have had several Lucian games where I've done very well early after buying Ghostblade and Black Cleaver, only for the game to get to 40 plus minutes and my damage output seriously fall off. Because of this, I have started picking Sivir instead and scaling much better into the late game. My thoughts on it in that in many cases the traditional build is much better because lower ELO games tend to last longer, where flat pen falls off and crit and lifesteal item is required, and the actives and passives on the flat pen items are challenging to use / manage effectively versus traditional build giving consistent DPS. The exception being against teams with either tank, all building damage, or no armor. Not that uncommon in my game, sadly, where flat pen excels. I realize that this firmly under its situation...
I think that's all we need to... So
pretty much.
We can take it off from there.
Yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, go ahead, Nick. You can take first crack at this.
George, if you want to say something first,
No,
because
I
I feel
like
like I'm going to go on the soapbox for this one.
I like his
We'll
postscript.
We'll kick you out from your soapbox. Don't worry.
Oh, you're kicking off
Mention
my
his
soapbox?
postscript first.
what's that?
Okay.
His postscript, Oliver's P.S. I get that in my example of Lucian vs. Sivir, part of the issue is my inability to capitalize on early game advantage to finish the game off, which is exactly
It's
what I was
very
going to
important
say.
as well. As actually
Yeah.
going to go back to it when I first started talking. So here we
You
go.
recognize the problem.
Yeah. So that's the thing is if you play Lucian and you build Ghostblade Cleaver, you have to finish the game by 30 minutes or else you're not going to do anything. Really not going to do anything. So the reason a lot of people, and I've fallen back into it, I started going back to the standard 80 carry build, Reaver, Rapid Fire Cannon, Bloodthirster, IE, Last Whisper item, depending on what
Rapid
the
Fire
situation.
Cannon?
Yeah, I go Rapid Fire on Lucian.
Okay.
A lot of
I think
nights. Go ahead.
Shiv and PD are also really good still. It's not as much of a disparity as it was between the other items.
I think
you know what I mean.
Really, you
Question.
can build any of them. I just prefer
Yeah.
Rapid Fire because you get the auto off. Because standard Lucian combo, especially in fights, with rapid fire, you can auto and then E dash in to auto attack range, and you get the reset on your auto, and you get the double tap in. So that's why I go rapid fire.
Okay.
That, and if you're kiting backwards, it allows you to get that auto attack off in a much safer distance.
Does Lucian passive work with rapid fire? If you like
Yes.
if you like E at the edge of rapid fire range, does the second shot go off?
You E out to the edge of rapid fire range and then auto attack. Yes, both shots follow through from that distance.
Neat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
So
I think it's not really dependent on like the other team comp. Either way, like traditional AD carry is still going to outscale no matter what, even if they're building shit tons of armor or they're building no armor.
And that's what a lot of people were saying the reasoning behind it was, but it's just the damage output after 25 minutes, 30 minutes,
Really
35, you see your damage per minute go from up here to down a couple hundred points.
Yep.
So really, it's just about, do you think you can finish the game by 27 minutes if you push in with Ghostblade Cleaver Zeal item or something like that? And it's good for an early spike, but you're saying it here, and Sivir does really well as well behind it with like 3 items when she gets IE Reaver PD or whatever Zeal item you go. You're just gonna be putting out a ton of damage.
So the thing I have about this question is that all those arguments are right, but I mean, you're not, at some point, if you want to learn how to use the armor pin to the best of its ability, you're going to have to go and actually do it. You aren't going to really learn how to use the armor pin build by going for the crit route.
It's just one of those things you have to experiment with. I mean,
It's not like, in this, I'm not going to say it's like totally situational where you go into a game and you see, okay, this game I can go the standard route, or I'll go the black cleaver counter. It's something you really have to start right from the beginning in your play style. Like, you have to be more aggressive in your laning phase to try to get that over quickly, so you can start stacking items, get that Yilmuz, and start really, like we said, trying to end the game before 30 minutes.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that, yeah, you can go back to the standard build, but don't expect to get good at rushing Yomu's and Black Cleaver from doing that.
You can never really... Yeah, you can't go wrong with standard. You can go wrong and lose... if you're not really trying to nail down why, like, the the armor pen builds work, you're going to have a lot less success with it than you would just building standard AD carry and standing in the back line and just hammering out damage.
Yep.
It might be good to look at the rest of your team, because if the rest of your team has like a Rise, and what other late game scaling champions do we have?
Kale,
Vladimir.
I don't know.
Kale, Vlad, Rise. Let's just say Vlad Rise, because
Champions that want 3 items plus to be effective, like your armor pen build. Oh, hey, you ended laning phase, but everyone else wants laning phase to keep going for 10 minutes.
And the other thing I'll say is that if you choose to go standard route, there are usually, not always, but usually better options for it than Lucian. So I'd still say, if you know what your problem is, like you seem to, then fix on working that single problem if you actually want to fix it.
Yeah, I think that's even in your question, you got to the core of why you think it works and doesn't work.
Yeah.
So
it
it
really
really
good job of explaining it, but
you should start a podcast.
Okay. So next one?
Yep.
You want me to take this one?
Yeah, do it, man.
All right, Sam G. Hello, Four Words. I've been following the show for about a year now, and I've been loving it ever since I heard the first episode. I know there are some big changes coming up for the show, and I wish you all the best as you search for new hosts. Doom and Frostbite, I just wanted to let you guys know that you've been truly great on the show. I always find your advice super helpful, and you're also incredibly funny and enjoyable to listen to. I wish you both the best as you guys go forward with your lives. He did put the pun in there on purpose. I just want to point that out.
Oh, good.
Editor's note. As per my questions, this is my first season of League of Legends that after my promotions, I landed myself in Silver 4 and was pretty pumped about that. Congrats. I mostly play ADC, and I have some questions about playing nicely with my support. As an ADC, I sometimes feel like my success in bot lane is tied to how well my support and I play together, which sometimes can be difficult in solo queue. 2 questions coming at you now. 1, I play pretty aggressively, so what should I do when I see my support playing passive? Is it my job to play more passively to match his style, or is it better to encourage him to play more aggressive? Number 2, I sometimes get in those situations where someone got support as a Phil pick, which I mean is going to happen. You picked Phil. And then the player decides to just troll and play whatever champion they want as a support. What can I do in those situations? How can I make the game a positive thing for me and my team? Are there things I should focus on during the game that I can still help myself improve as a player despite a support who doesn't want to be a support? Thanks for your help. Keep up the great work, and best of luck with everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
like, I want to be a little harsh with this because, like, that solo queue, you're playing in a duo lane. You're going to have to learn to match your support, or your support is going to have to learn to match you. And usually, if you're the one trying to improve, you're going to have to try to match them because they're not going to try as hard to adjust to you. And it's never going to work if you try to solo carry the lane. Because you're like laning phase as an AD carry, you're like a shit tier character that doesn't do anything except for try to farm.
For the most part,
right? Like I'm not saying
AD carry.
I'm not saying you can't be aggressive and start getting kills, but generally as an AD carry, your early game, you are the support's bitch.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like, no, so I guess one of the things about early laning is, yes, to answer question 1, basically, if your support's playing passive, you play passive. If your support's playing aggressive, you play aggro. You walk up into the creep wave, you play up a little bit. If you're playing passive, sit back, farm, let them push into you, jungler assistance, all that stuff. So, and go ahead.
Well, I mean, I think like if you like to play aggressive and you end up queuing with a support that's not very aggressive, especially if they don't play support, you're never really going to get them on the same level of aggression that you want. But if you start doing more pinging, warding for the lane yourself, and helping to time ultimates, tell them when you're going to go in, when you want to go in, at least you can have enough synergy where it'll work in the lane.
Just communicate what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I know that if you're playing, like, let's say you're playing Ezreal, and you get first blood, but their Lucian, you get first blood and you come back with like a tier and a longsword, but their Lucian farmed up enough gold that he has double longsword. Lucian's going to have the advantage in that lane because of 2 reasons. Because
he's
Lucian trades better 1 through 6 than any other. What's that?
Yeah, I was just saying he's Lucian.
Yeah, he's Lucian. So he's going to trade better 1 through you get 2 items pretty much.
Yeah.
At least 1 item. Usually it's 2. So if he comes back with he's Lucian and he has item advantage. So you want to communicate with your support, basically saying, hey, I don't want to play as aggro now because I'm down combat stats because you're scaling into late game. So just make sure that you get your point across in a nice and polite way, and don't condescend to your support, because really they're your only friend guaranteed to be in that lane with you until the mid game comes around, because you might not get assistance from your jungler if you're bullying your support. So
yeah, the The thing I have to add here is that even if you're an aggressive player playing with a passive support, you can still be aggressive. You just don't have quite the same number of opportunities to do so.
Yep.
Like,
you got to be careful though, because
Yeah.
there's like,
well, so
yeah,
you can play how you want. You just have to realize when you can and can't do it. A support opens opportunities for you, and you have the option to take those opportunities or not. It's just that some sports will open less opportunities.
yeah,
Yes.
like
Yeah,
a game
you can
still
take those. But
Okay.
don't. Yeah, just
Yeah.
don't take opportunities. Don't take opportunities that aren't there.
Like I still have nightmares from like I don't know 2-3 years ago of a lane where I can't remember which AD carry I was playing, but I was playing with a Zyra, and like oh shit, we're gonna poke them like to death and be super aggro. That Zyra placed her plants behind her, and she was so far away from me, she was 2 levels down by the time laning phase ended. She was out of experience range.
Oh,
Zyra, please.
Oh, she's supposed to Zyra. Like Zyra
didn't-
right now
she
is the
didn't
most
Zyra.
oppressive thing I have seen in my history of playing this game.
and I
support
love
wise.
it.
It hurt so much, but at the same time, I couldn't just ignore that and start going in by myself either, because you really just had to.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
mean to pick Soraka? I don't
Yeah.
know what you're doing back there.
Z and C, S and Z are two different letters, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy
Sometimes-
demi-humans.
And it's.
Oh yeah. Good. I think that was well
What
said,
about his
George.
second point?
Second point, you're gonna get
About-
trolls, and like, but you can still work with it. Like, I still remember Nidalee support, Nidalee
Well, I feel like
quotation
this-
like support.
This almost works in his favor because usually
Yeah, those are more like the aggressive.
when people pick like whatever champion they want to play, I feel like yeah, in some ways they're not picking a meta pick, but also in some ways they're like, all right, well, I'm just gonna go super ham all the time, and the other team is like, when do they play against support? Maokai, or what's another example of a kind of support?
Fizz, because
Fizz.
we played fives with.
It was like if ever you get like some rando that usually plays another lane
Support
and they're
Lee
doing
Sin.
like support, it's usually a mid laner. They're usually one
Yeah,
to play Lux or Nidalee or Ziggs or something
Just let them
like
play
that.
a mage and sit back and poke, and then once you
Turn
get them
into a
down
kill
to a
lane,
certain
a
HP
brand.
threshold, then you can
Yeah.
go aggro and kill them.
It's not the worst thing, especially for you.
Yeah, it's. And the other thing to comment is that as you get higher and higher up, you get more people that are okay with supporting.
Yeah, there's actually people who main supports. They exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I was one of them.
No way.
And then what you do not do is you do not head to the mid lane and say, hey, my support's being an asshole. I'm going to be an asshole now and take the mid lane's farm.
That's a terrible idea.
You're-
Don't do
Don't
that.
do that.
Don't do
You're,
that.
you're really salty about that.
I
can
am.
tell.
This happened last week in promos.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But,
I actually used to play a lot of support before Dynamic Q,
Mhm.
because if I select it as my secondary, I get it. I'm like, I don't want to play support every game.
Right? That was our problem. I pick 80 carrier support. 95% support.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it really
Anyway.
comes down to learning. You have a unique opportunity in the bottom lane in which you are your success directly is affected by you and your lane partner. So you really have a chance to learn how to work with another person with really minimal communication, especially in solo queue. So learning how to mimic or play off of their style is, no matter what, going to be your best opportunity. Because as long as you're playing together on the same page, you're always going to do better than if you are like trying to do two different things.
Pretty much.
Good points.
Very good points.
Um,
Do we have time for one more?
let's see, what's this next question? Let's see if I can find like a short one.
Yeah, that's like a
Not
whole
that one.
page.
How about the one after
The
that?
very end. Thanks again for addressing this question. I know I'm pretty long-winded. Sorry. We'll save that for another episode.
How about the one after that?
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah, let's do that one. George, you haven't
Okay,
had
I
a
can-
crack. You
yeah.
got it.
So Evan M writes in, "Hey guys, great to have the podcast back and going well. I have a question that is less about improving and more genuine curiosity. I always hear people say, I hate playing against X champion. Any nerf to them is a good nerf. I was curious if there are any champions you guys enjoy going up against. Please exclude amazing matchups for your mains. So if you main Lucian, don't go putting in, I don't know, who's Lucian amazing against?
Ooh.
Whoever it is, don't say that.
Damn it.
Yeah. God, like his name's Evanescence. Wait, what?
Evan M.
Evan M.
Evan M.
Oh, okay.
Didn't put something.
Evan M.
Yes.
Oh, you said Evan M says or something like that. Evan M sent. I don't know. I got some weird mix-up that his name was some cross between Eminem and Evanescence. Like that'd be
Good
a
band,
really,
by the way.
That'd be a really sweet like mix-up of a band.
Introducing this new perfume line.
Evanescence.
Eminem Sense.
Okay.
Chocolate.
Champions I like going up against. I really like going up against I don't want to say it because if they're good, they actually like destroy you 2v2. Like a good way to check your skill as a duo lane is to find a Jhin Bard that really knows what they're doing. Because holy cow,
And kill yourself.
that lane sucks. Let me tell you. It
It's
sucks to go against, but it's a really good measure of like if you're playing with your fives support in solo queue
it's
and you draw, let's just say Tristana Janna versus Jhin Bard. That's a really good test of can you guys play Tristana Janna to the point that it's really good against Jhin Bard because it has the potential to. But only if you manage to play the 2v2, 2v3, 3v2, 5v5, whatever happens bottom lane correctly. So, and what about you two mid laners, Peter and George?
I feel like there's
Yeah,
way
that's
more
like a
people that I
bigger-
hate than that I like to see. I haven't had much problem with Lux recently. I feel like I've done really well against Luxes. Everyone else I pretty much hate. If I could get an open lane, that'd be great. I don't know. I'm also in a slump. I lost like 8 solo queue games in a row, and my fives team has gone like 2-7 last month. So I hate everyone and everything right now.
So
I'm sorry.
So on my end, there's 3 of them I can point out. Azir, I actually really like going against now that he's not completely broken. Because even though he's bad right now, he can still chunk your ass out of lane if you're not careful. If the player knows what he's doing. Like, it's an extreme... all the matchups I like are skill matchups for the other person. Like Azir, LeBlanc, where they're trying to do a thing and do it extremely well. Like LeBlanc tries to kill you at 6. So I love having the option to play around those conditions.
I have actually had fun playing against LeBlancs. Just because
Really?
I usually play Lissandra into her, so it's a game of can I hit W when she pops in?
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm
like-
under tower, ideally.
Or like Vel'Koz, I don't mind playing against. Because he's a pusher, but he's not an oppressive, I spend one spell Victor Laser on the wave and it's gone.
Right. See,
He
like,
has to put work into it.
like
Yeah.
in the bottom lane, any matchup against like a Kog'Maw, because I love playing like aggressively, and Kog'Maw is just
Yeah.
like a free 300 gold early game. Seriously, like you play Draven, you play Jhin, you play anyone with any like bit of aggressive support in them, and that
I guess
Kog'Maw
the
is
one
really like
since since we're talking about mains and duo lane, you have a support to play with. One of my favorite supports, like
Hold on.
you play-
Lucian Braum.
yes, Lucian Braum, Lucian Thresh, Lucian Zyra are my top 3
Gotcha.
favorite lanes to play because
Lucian Braum's a
Zyra
classic.
chunks them out. They walk back up into Zyra plant range. They're eating Zyra plant and Lucian bullets, and it's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, the Lucian Light Slinger with the Zyra plants photosynthesis, that sounds really powerful.
It gets a
Science.
lot of shit done.
Science.
God damn it! I wasn't paying attention. You sneaked that past me. God damn it. Okay.
Valium and I got the synergy going on at this point.
Yeah.
We just-
Oh, Jesus. Oh, if you got anything more you want to say, you better hurry up because I'm about to close this fucking podcast down because of that.
I already soapboxed.
Wait. Okay, Haber, what sport do you like playing with?
What support?
Yeah.
If I'm playing Ezreal, like when I normally am, I love Leona.
Why? I'm curious.
What do you mean? Why?
Because, okay, so I actually hate playing Ezreal with a Leona.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it. So because
Like
I don't
like
feel
it
like I can go
in
aggressive
the
enough.
regard where I can go like really aggressive level 2
You
Well,
can't
or
go
level
aggressive
6. You can
with
go.
Leona?
You can.
You can, but I don't feel like I don't have the damage follow up to go with. I mean,
Man, you're level 2 Ezreal. You have the damage follow up. You're level 6 Ezreal. You have the damage follow up.
I'm used to Lucian level 2. Like
Mhm.
everybody else's level 2 is just bad to me. So
Yeah. Like on that end I like Sun Lady. Can't remember her name right now. Like I'm like fucking
Yeah,
close
man.
to passing out. But I also just really like people like Braum as well. Being able to
And
get out a little bit of
Ezreal Annie.
Ezreal Annie's just fucking vicious.
Ash
It's
Leona
dirty.
level 6.
Ash Leona, yeah.
I think I've said that before.
Last week you did, yeah.
Yeah. It's still amazing to me.
Favorite thing to do is take Lucian top and just get tilted off the face of the world.
I was waiting.
Oh,
Can we leave now?
Yeah, no,
We've made
That's it.
we've made the Lucian top reference. We've made the 4 words pun. I think it's time to close out the show.
Yeah,
now.
I
God,
lucky
Hootie doesn't
world,
listen.
Toonie.
If you're listening, I'm sorry. Also, why are you listening? Seriously, I'm curious.
At least not at Worlds. He's got nothing else to do.
Damn. Okay.
We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.